Okay.
Blog Talk Radio.
Took me a second. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Huh?
No, I said hi, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
This is the good evening. Please come in. This is the Janella. Oh, I'm sorry. If you want to be Crystal and Janella's show, that's fine with me.
Oh, blow me. Seriously.
Maybe later. Maybe later.
Oh, damn it. You're such a tease. So welcome to Perfecting Failure. We are doing a show tonight on a bunch of stuff, actually, in no particular order, because you know what I figure? Why start having, like, structure to our shows now? You know what I mean? Like, that should be...
Oh, she's a liar. We totally know what we're going to do. We have it all set up now.
We might have a change of plan. Who knows? Because, you know...
as of now, I mean, from what I just known a few minutes ago, as of now, tonight we'll be discussing maybe more, maybe less, depending on timing, or something like Crystal said is prize. We're as of now, we have 3 cases we're going to talk about currently in the news, and so.
Yeah.
I don't know what your surprise is. I don't know, so I'll be finding out just along with all of you, apparently, if there is a surprise.
And
is it Santa? Is Santa coming?
Janella. There's no such thing as Santa.
You bitch. Don't tell me that. Who do you think you are? I'm going to be 27. I'm 26 and a half years old. I know there's Santa.
Okay.
All right, let's get to it.
No, let me just tell you. I'm going to tell you right now because I care about you. And I don't want you all, like, you know, thinking things that aren't true. So, let's see. Are you ready?
Oh, let me sit down. Okay, I'm ready. Oh my God, what the hell?
There is no Santa.
Oh my God.
The soundbite didn't make it any better?
I actually could not quite understand what the soundbite was.
Okay, I'll play it one more time. And then,
okay, everybody listen.
Clean the earwax. Clean the earwax out of your ears. Hold on.
Okay, dun, dun, dun. Yes, I got that. That's from, like, the 70s theme show, like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's like a soap opera. Like, he said, what? You're my father?
I have that to Luke. I am your father.
That was the perfect. I hated those soap operas, like, you know, General Hospital and all that. but my mother was obsessed with them. So like that's the perfect time to do it. Like, you're my biological father, dun dun dun.
No, that's what you say before. Like if it's gonna be all. I have drop. Hold on. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. But that goes after the shocking.
But see, and then this is what happens. This is what happens when you crack a joke.
You're my.
Right?
No, you messed it up. Wait, after I get it ready to play when I finish, but instantly. You ready?
Oh, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Mom, I'm gay. Well, you were about 2 seconds delayed, but that's okay. Oh, man. It should have been, Mom, Dad, I'm gay, and it should have been instantaneous, but that's okay. That's cool. It's
I knew
fine.
Exactly
She's still learning.
No, I knew
Again,
exactly
perfecting failure for a reason.
Okay, so, are you ready?
That sounded like running water.
That was a drum roll.
That sounded like you were getting in the shower.
I never shower. Don't lie.
Oh, damn. I wasn't going to tell everyone that. Damn.
Right?
Giving all your dirty secrets, literally.
The dirty one.
I can't believe I laugh at my own jokes, by the way, everyone, if you haven't noticed already. But I can't believe I wrote that. Like when you said you had the sound bites, I tried to type out but and you got it right away. You knew exactly what I was talking about. I think that's called a rim something. I forgot what it's called. I was going to say a rim job, but I know it's not that. Oh, I wouldn't get a rim job.
Did you hear that one?
Not when I was talking. You have to prepare me. Play it again.
Chop up. You know what makes me so mad, though? You're actually going to be thrilled to hear this. There is no buzzer.
Oh, good. Thank you for that.
No. I think I can find one and upload it to it, but as of
right
you
now, bitch. I thought you were being nice to me because I hate it. And you're like, oh, I love you so much, Jay. And I got rid of the buzzer for good because that's how much I love you. You're the best.
I would never. You are the reason.
If I ever come to New Jersey, I'm going to stay with you.
Oh, I would totally do that. And you're going to let me anyway, no matter what. But, no, seriously.
Oh, you have to. Next time you go to New York, we have to hang out. Like, seriously.
Well, you buy me a ticket, and I am there.
No, the next time you get a free ticket, like the last time.
Right. It wasn't free last time. Are you kidding me?
I'll pick you up from Newark.
Yeah, if I don't die first. Okay, so we've wasted a good bit of time now, and
probably
we're very unprofessional.
Yeah, we wasted some time there. So let's get serious now. Everybody's listening and wanting to hear. I specifically put on Twitter, by the way, we're talking about 3 very new cases. Please listen, and this is what we're doing. It's a bunch of I forgot what I was going to say about it, but
it's a bunch of hogwash, is what it is.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was looking. That was the word I was looking for, or malarkey.
Malarkey.
Anyway, they love us. Anyway, our 9 listeners love us.
That's what I was just going to say, too. Our 9 listeners, yeah, they think that we're fucking
love
great.
You guys. I'm going to know you all by name pretty soon. And Amy, I know you're listening, so you better call in.
Oh, Amy's listening?
Yeah, she's asking, she's saying now, she's like, she was like, when's the show? I'm like, right now, listen.
Right on. Good job for Amy listening. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's start with the first story. The first story that we're going to do is are we doing the saddest story first, or are we doing the somewhat? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my story first because it happened very close to my home.
Yeah, that's the one I would want to talk about first, definitely.
There was a headless body that was found at the base of a freeway that was about 40 minutes from my house. I'm not going to tell you where I live because I know some of you guys think I'm really awesome and might want to try and stalk me, so I'm just not going to have that nonsense going on. But
I will just say it's around 3rd Street in Minnesota, just so you know.
Address 3456.
3456. Our number is 555-0137.
No, it's 555-1234.
Okay. How funny is that? Oh, sorry, go ahead. I digress. Go ahead.
I know, right? We are so bad at this whole, like, news show thing because we...
I was going to talk about, like, in the movies when it's, like, 555-0011.
And we're doing it right now. We're doing that right now. Okay, so let's stop. Okay, so at the 215 in California, on the 215 freeway near the 10 interchange, the connector to the 10 freeway, Highway 10, someone called in a headless body. And the cops went out there, they checked it all out and everything. The victim was identified as Luke Alvin Johnson. He's 35 years old from Loma Linda, California. What gets us about this case is that this case right now is being investigated as a suicide.
Mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling.
Insane.
It's making my head roll. Damn it.
But, I was going to say, where was it? Hello, you have that, and you didn't do it.
I know. This is a serious show, and this is a serious topic.
You suck. Boo. You got to get the boo.
I do have the boo.
And you have to get the clap, from, like, the sitcoms where everybody's...
Too.
Oh, I love you so much. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So, yeah.
So, a man is found dead on the shoulder of the westbound 10 freeway. They're investigating possible suicide. This is mind-boggling because... so let me tell you why they're investigating this as a suicide. They are thinking it's suicide because they found a white pickup truck that was discovered, like, directly above where the body was found. And it's believed, I'm assuming by now they have matched the registration to the dude, and this is how they figured out what his identity was, and so it was his truck. So because they did not really give much in the way of, like, well, we believe that he committed suicide by A, jumping, B, cutting his head off. I mean, that's impossible, I would believe. C, hanging himself. The articles that I read did not give much as far as details where that's concerned, and obviously it's still an open investigation, so that's probably why. So this is what I do when I read stories like this, and I want to, if it's locally especially, and I want to find out a little bit more about the stuff, because family members and people who know these victims, they often get on the comment threads, and they will leave comments. And you can get so much information. The only problem is it can be shoddy information because you're getting it from a commenter, not
of course.
Right. Well,
you don't know who that person is on the other end, especially when they say it sounds legit, and they're like, well, it's a friend of a friend of a friend, their cousin. It's like, okay.
But the thing is that what I learned in school and stuff and learning how to research and cross-reference and all that crap, basically I look for consistencies. So if I'm going through the comments and I see someone say, oh, yeah, it was actually really a hippopotamus, and that's the only person saying it's a hippopotamus, then I'm going to be like, oh, you're dumb, okay? But if I look through the comments and I see the same thing consistently by different people being talked about, I do put some credibility into that. So basically, up until I went through those comments, I was there's no way this is a freaking suicide. What do you take us for? We're not idiots. I would like to know if there's a head collector running around my, the vicinity in the 40-mile radius, whatever.
A head collector.
And so I started going through the comments, and here was my preliminary assessment was basically how the fuck did this person's head come off? And if you guys are listening and you're watching the slideshow that's playing in front of you on the player, you'll see a picture of what looks to be a freeway, area. And there's some fire trucks. This is the spot where he was found. Now, if you look around the spot where he was found, there's no, like, electrical wires or telephone poles or whatever that he could have possibly knocked his noggin off on the way down if he jumped, okay? There's absolutely nothing. So if he jumped and there was no mention of a rope I would imagine to decapitate yourself, you would have to jump with, like, if you were trying to hang yourself or you wanted to decapitate yourself while jumping, then your noose would have to be made out of, like, razor wire. And you thrashed around a lot. Like, that's the only thing I can think of that would cut the skin, but not just cut the skin, but maybe get through you know what I mean? Because, like, I don't know about you, but I've watched a beheading video before when that journalist was captured in the Middle East or whatever. I tried to watch that, and through my fingers while I'm convulsing with cringing as I'm watching this, I did learn that it is extremely difficult to separate the head from the neck. And you were talking about this earlier too, Genoa. How would you do that? And that makes I keep on getting messages.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like I did say to you earlier when we discussed this really quickly before the show, I know that people do cut their own throats. That happens, although to me, I would think it's very rare, but I'm not going to be, ignorant and say that it doesn't happen.
No, it is. It is very rare. It's very few and far between.
Yeah, it's a rarity. But when it comes to fully decapitate, mind you, everyone, the head was gone. To fully decapitate yourself and get through that spine, how do you get around? How do you cut through that spine, like the bone, and then get into the rest of your... After that, you have nothing. You can't...
Right.
You have no feeling after that. You can't do anything.
Yeah. So... Plus, it's extremely difficult. We're not talking about just cutting through flesh here. We're talking about cutting through the bone, and it's very difficult to do something like this. So moving on from that, there can only be one other explanation, because I'll tell you what, jumpers from the World Trade Center, when they landed, there was not a lot of them, much left of them, because it was such a far drop. However, they were still identifiable. There were still heads, and this is only an 80-foot drop, okay? So the only thing I could think of at the time was, well, maybe he jumped, and as he jumped, right as he landed, a semi going 70 miles an hour hit him just perfectly so that his head was taken off, because that is possible. However, there would be skid marks of blood or something, and oh, my God, could you imagine the surprise that trucker got when he went to go wash his fucking car? Like, holy shit. And the head would be gone. Like, I'm sure it would drag the head a little bit to,
No, the damage on the car, no doubt. The damage, I mean, the not just blood, but, pieces and everything, brain matter, everything. I mean,
exactly.
Did they actually find the head or no?
They did. Okay, again, there was no talk about the location of the head, only the body.
Okay. Because that's definitely important where it was.
In the comment section, people who actually passed by themselves and saw the scene before the cops got there, including the lady who called it in, commented on the story. And the lady who called it in says, what did she say here?
God, could you imagine finding that? Oh, Jesus,
right.
That poor woman.
Basically, she said something to the effect of, I was the one who called it in. I thought I was imagining things, but nope, sure enough, it was a body with the head about 3 feet away. And then another person says, yeah, I was one of the passersby that passed by before the cops got on the scene, and it was a traumatizing thing to see for sure. And then another person said, well, his body, I live in the area. He was from Colton. He said, I live in the area. He goes, and there's currently a picture floating around online of the scene, and none of us in this town believe this to be a suicide because, and this was my point.
I'm not even in that state, and I don't believe it's a suicide.
Well, and if you look at the picture, there's one very, very, very vital piece of evidence that is missing here.
Oh boy!
For this to be consistent with the suicide, and not a murder and dump. And that piece of evidence is there is absolutely no blood anywhere that I can see.
Oh, like as if the body were brought there afterwards.
I mean, I'm telling you what, Janella, no matter what, unless you are dead, when your head is removed from your body, you are going to bleed like a motherfucker.
Oh, of course. And the only way there wouldn't be, or if at the most minimal blood, would be if your body was brought there after the fact, when the blood stops, when your death stops coming.
Right. So that one piece right there, that one part right there, is what is making this so difficult for me to believe that this is a suicide. Now, the truck being there, that is consistent with the suicide. Here's another thing, too. I learned from looking on the comments that this person was transgendered. They were in the process of turning themselves into a woman.
But this was a comment, though, right? You haven't been able to confirm this. This was a comment.
Was multiple comments on
multiple
okay.
I thought
websites.
It was just one person.
No, this was multiple comments on multiple different websites. In fact, I'm looking here right now. The person who died here was a female named Kaylee. She was not male. I know this for a fact. I hope the media corrects this. Now, that's the girl I told you about that I got on her butt. I'm like, well, maybe your friend had some male parts that she didn't know.
Yes, that's what I thought. That's what I think.
And then that's when I felt like an asshole, because then I read after that. I'm like, holy crap, she really did have male parts that this person didn't know about, obviously. But another person said this person was a friend of mine. She was transgender and just wanted to be loved. She had been suicidal for a very long time. And another person on a different site said to me directly, they said, quit spouting off bullshit you know nothing about, because this person was very suicidal. That very morning that this happened, she said this very morning this person threatened to commit suicide, and they said if they did it right, they would be decapitated. Now, that to me is perplexing. How the fuck did they think that they were going to do this right? There's no blood damage.
Also, for the fact, I mean, let me just, this is a little bit off topic, but the person, you know that they said that, and what did you do about it? That would have been my question.
What I said.
Yeah,
that's
what
you
knew about this. What did you do?
I'm like, you want to sit here, you want to sit here and you want to talk shit to me about spouting off bullshit, but you just exposed something about yourself that explains to me clearly why you're so mad at me right now. You're projecting because you are extremely upset with yourself that the person who just told you that they were going to do something like this, you ignored it. You wrote it off like it was nothing. You didn't even take it seriously. And so what happens? You turn on the news and you find out that this time that person was not kidding. If this was a suicide, which, again, I'm going to clearly say I don't think it is. And if it is, and if they can prove it and they explain to me exactly how this happened, I will be the first one to apologize and say I was wrong. But the lack of blood makes me feel otherwise.
Yeah, the only scenario which I'm still iffy about, but there's zero chance in my mind, at least. Again, I'm not going to say 1,000% a fact, or 100%. I don't know that for sure, but in my mind, 0% chance they cut their own head off. Obviously, that's safe to say. But the only scenario that's possible, slightly plausible to me, would be like you said, jumping and and possibly getting hit by a semi or something, or But I don't know, with the blood, with the lack of blood. First of all, even the fall and hitting something like that to lose your head. Hello, you would be. It'd be a massacre.
The body.
There would be blood everywhere.
The body also had upper body trauma, which I would assume was probably from the fall. But here's the thing. Now, when I found out she was transgendered, I was like, okay, well now they have a 31% suicide rate among them. Many of those are post-op because they realize after they get the surgery and everything that guess what? Nothing is going to change the fact that you were born a man. Your DNA,
and yet mentally, nothing will change. You can change the physical, but it'll always still be
not
there.
Even just the physical, because your DNA does not change. And this is a perfect
example. No, I meant
example
physical by, the penis or, whatever the case may be, that type of physical, the exterior, yeah.
Right, but the
interior, you can't, that you can't change that. There's no surgery in the world to be able to, fix that. And that's true. And people saying that she was suicidal obviously gives me huge pause, and it makes sense. But the problem is that I didn't even know about the lack of blood until you just said it. And to me, that's like obviously everybody knows the Black Dahlia, Elizabeth Short. Again, that cut in half, there was no blood because she was brought there, after the fact, and she was cut in half and no blood because literally it was after the fact. Once your body dies, that's it. Like, you're not going to have that type of blood. Yeah, whereas she was murdered, this woman that we're talking about now, it's got to be bad. The blood, if she had killed herself and jumped and hit a rail and or decapitated herself, whatever, hello, come on, there'd be blood everywhere. Blood splatter everywhere.
Right, it would look like a bloodbath. We spent way too much time on this story because now we only have 5 live minutes left. But anyway, so the next story.
Sorry, everyone.
Go ahead.
There's no good segue to that. Let's head in the next direction.
Okay, so the next one's really sad. A Missouri dad, it's actually a stepdad. Their house, they woke up, him and his girlfriend or wife woke up to smelling a fire burning. The fire is believed to have started from an electrical socket in the parents' bedroom. The 3-year-old son, Riley, was in his bedroom. They exited the house. The cops had gotten there. The dad decided that his name is Ryan. The dad decided he was going to break back into the house so he could get to saving his 3-year-old stepson. Well, the police who had arrived on the scene decided that no, he was not going to enter the house again. And when he disobeyed the fire officials, when he disobeyed the fire officials' orders and tried to enter the building to save his stepson, he was tasered 3 times before they finally handcuffed him and put him in the back of the car, while his 3-year-old stepson burned in the fire, and he did not survive. So there's a picture on the slideshow in the player on the Blog Talk Radio website to show you the picture of the little boy Riley. He's cute as a button. But yeah, this to me, I wanted to cover this story. The house is it's horrible. I can't believe this, to be honest. I don't know protocol. I don't know if the only thing I can think of is maybe the fire officials and the law enforcement didn't want him to go back in the house because they knew that it was a futile thing, and they didn't want another life to be taken. But
well, I'm sorry. I want to say one thing because I know we're short on time, but just about this case, and again, this is something new to me that I didn't know too much about. I read the story right before. But just one thing. First of all, we all agree. I mean, if that's my child, I'm running in. I don't give a shit. You know, I mean, I would do everything I could to save my baby. You know, so that's me. I don't obviously anybody that says otherwise. You know, then I don't know what to say about you, and you can't fault him for that. The only thing I could think that I don't think cops are just assholes. Possibly, maybe he had gone. First of all, that's and maybe what's it called with the investigation, like disturbing it or whatever, but maybe he got violent. We don't know that. Maybe to get inside, he let me go, and we don't know. I mean, how he was at that moment. Although I wouldn't fault him whatsoever.
Exactly. Let's look at it that way. Okay, so to be completely honest, unless he pulled a gun on the officers, I really don't think there's anything he could have done. I agree,
and that was his baby, and to arrest him, I would have been like, you know what, you do it again, let's go in the car, detain him, put him in cuffs in the car. I mean, I hate to say that, don't put him in cuffs, but if you have to, but to actually arrest him, I mean, but detain him, I would say forget the cops. Just put him in the car, have someone talk to him, put him in an ambulance because he's not right, obviously, and he's so distraught.
I don't agree with that. Your baby is in the house that is on fire. The fire is engulfed in his room. You know he's dying in there.
But the police can. What don't you agree with? The police not letting him go back in?
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, they can't. That would be a huge lawsuit. I'm telling you. His wife, girlfriend, mother, sister, whoever would sue the town, sue the sheriff, sue the state.
They're going to do it anyway.
Saying, it was their job to protect him. Now we lost both.
No, but they're going to do that
you
anyway.
have to. I mean, they can't run on emotion, although that's part of their job, but they have to say, okay, I mean, we're going to try to save him. And even the father said he came out breathing at the time when they brought him out. Well, the father said this, that in a quote, the story you gave me, that when they brought him out, he was still breathing at the moment. So, again, I don't know, that was just his quote. But like I said, you have to think that these people, they have to protect everyone. So they can't say okay, I'm a father, so go ahead and go in and, that's the only thing, that I'm saying. They can't do that. Like, okay, well, I'm a father too, so go right in, and then you have 2 fatalities. Then his sister, mother, father are suing because how could you let my son, run into that house? I mean, why? Why would you do that? So you have to kind of think like that.
I get it. But, I mean, I just feel like if it's your kid, it's your life.
Of course.
And
I would go in for anybody's kid. I mean, if there's a 3-year-old baby next door.
All right, we got 30 seconds live left, so we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to the people that are listening live and tell you to tune back in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, listen to the replay.
And you'll get the last secret 15 minutes that doesn't air live that we continue.
We have another good story.
Okay, so let's start with the next story. So back to that real quick. I see your point. I do. To me, though, they're going to sue anyway. They're going to sue anyway because this.
Oh, they're not going to win. No way.
I didn't realize that until when you were saying that, I'm like, well, if they sue now, if protocol says that they are not allowed to let any other family member who is live and well, obviously, go back into the house, a burning house, if protocol says that and the cops were merely following protocol, then you know what? I have to kind of give kudos to the cops that they were able to maintain their composure enough to maintain protocol. Because I don't know I would be as strong as that. I think I would.
Of course. And and you're thinking obviously as a mother, and like I will say this, even if it were the kid next door, I could not to think of a child burning alive in a bed. I couldn't imagine. But as police officers, and most of them were probably, maybe even the guy that arrested him, unfortunately, although he didn't want to, was probably a father himself. But they cannot think like that in that moment. And something the father's not thinking. He just wants to go. He just wants to do. They have to. They were trained to think before. Well, they should be, not always, but they should be thinking quickly and before they, going on emotion. I mean, emotion's important, but their job isn't based on emotion. And unfortunately, that's a thing where that would have been like, your job, sir, was to protect the living, how could you let him run back in there? Why? Because you have a son too, and and of course they can try, I doubt it, but they can try suing with this. They did nothing wrong, negligent. They didn't set the fire, the police, the state, they tried to save the baby. A lot of times you just can't. Unfortunately, it was too late. Yeah, and the police didn't go. It was the firefighters, the police, all of them. They tried their best, and oh my God, those firefighters. I give them all the credit in the world. They're amazing. Right. And unfortunately, they die themselves going into burning buildings to save people, and it's just such a. Can you imagine that type of situation in that moment where
I think I could do it for a kid, but I think I'd be really hard pressed.
I'm sorry. I agree as well. I wouldn't run back in. I'm being dead honest. I would not run back in. But for a child, no questions asked. If I were able to, obviously, if the front door's on fire, what are you going to do? But if there's any chance, there's smoke or whatever, if there's any chance I think that there's a slight chance I can save a baby, and I have a neighbor with a 4-year-old. It's not my kid, but I'm sorry, I just couldn't. I don't know if I'd be able to live with myself knowing that. What if I had run, next door neighbors? What if, in their apartment I can open my door and grab her off? You just never know. And this being your own child. I would do that for any child, but this being your own child, I couldn't even imagine being in that situation.
Especially if you hear screaming and stuff. I tell myself when I read stories like this.
Oh my God!
With this story, what I told myself was, okay, this is what happened. That baby, the smoke started in mom and dad's room, or the fire started in mom and dad's room. So by the time the fire flames actually got to the baby, he was already unconscious from smoke inhalation. He was in a deep, deep, deep sleep. And that's how he died, was smoke inhalation, not burns to his body. He did not suffer at all. Like that, I have to tell myself that, otherwise I will not sleep at night. Okay, so moving on to the next story. We're going to save the best one for last. But this one is about another little boy named Riley. His parents are 21 years old. I'm not going to do names or anything like that, but his parents are 21 years old. They were having a party over at their mobile home in a trailer park. And some teenagers that were attending the party heard the baby crying, so they were like, well, what the hell's that? They go to the back of the mobile home into one of the rooms, and they find this baby laying on like a pile of dirty clothes or whatever, and the baby is absolutely emaciated. It looks like the baby's starved nearly to death. And come to find out, so they went and they got an adult. The adult called the cops, or the adult took the baby to the hospital. The hospital did a once-over on the baby, and they said that the baby had not been fed properly for like at least a month and a half. He was very, very, very tiny, very skinny. Well, they put him on an IV, and the good news is, this is our warm and fuzzy moment, people. The good news is that once they put him on the IV, it took a little bit, but he finally started to be able to take in the fluids, and then they were able to feed him. Now he's eating well. He was adopted out, and there's a picture on the slideshow. For those of you looking at the viewer, there's a picture on the slideshow that shows him when he was found. That's when he's got the oxygen in his face. And then when a couple months later, in a car seat, and he's a little fat, chunky, chubby Chubbawamba. just cute as hell now, and he's doing well.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so this was definitely a better story with a great happy ending. Okay, so let's talk about the van shooting. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I didn't know you were going to be so fast on the other story. But,
okay. We only have like 9 minutes left or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say I didn't get to say anything about that real quickly. I'm just glad he was a newborn infant where, he wasn't old enough to where he can have a normal life. And I just want to say that. And that's so grateful that, that's the case instead of saving a 4 or 5 year old. And unfortunately, that might not be the case for them, So I just want to say that. But
let me add this in. When the cops questioned the parents, and they're both 21 years old, when the cops questioned Mom, why have you not been feeding this baby? She said, well, because I had other stuff I had to do. Like, I had to get an oil change. I had da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, I face-palmed. I was like, what the...
And you keep saying 21 like that's, they were just, 21 means nothing. I don't care if you're 15 years old with a kid. But, you can't... And there's, to me, that's just... Anyway, that's... I just wanted to say...
I'm not saying 21 because it's, they didn't know it better. I'm saying 21 because it's a lot worse when it's somebody who is older. You know what I mean? Like a 21-year-old, it's... I don't know. There's no excuse for it whatsoever. I don't know why I keep saying 21. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know you're not saying, and I hope nobody else does it. I know you're not saying you're excusing in any way, but I believe you're thinking, because that's the fourth time you said 21. I think you're thinking, they're not at, it's not that they're at fault. There's no excuse, but they're 21. And to me, like I said, that means nothing because, it's not, to me, it isn't any worse. It's, let's say, the exact same mirror situation, but the mother was 35. To me, but the situation with the same baby, the same living, a situation.
Right, but there's a lot of brain development. There's a lot of brain development and
21, 21, I'm sorry. 21 is, that's not the same.
You do realize that our brain functioning does not complete its full thing until we're about 25. I'm not making.
Well, that's men. I would look that up again because men and women actually, women actually.
We go a few years earlier than they do, but besides the point, it's not even.
Yeah, men is up to 25.
Let's talk about the cops that shot up a van.
Yeah, let's skip that. Yeah, because we only have a few minutes. So real quickly with this, and there's a lot of emotion to it. And okay, basically, I don't have the story on hand, and this is last week, and I had gotten into it a little bit with it, but okay, well, so you don't have it up yet.
Oh, no, I'll
just go by what I know.
Introduce it.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead and introduce it.
Okay. Basically, from what I know, I'm not reading it, but basically, when you pull it up, that's different. I forget. This was, I believe, New Mexico.
Yes, I got it right here. Yeah. It's in New Mexico.
Okay, so it's I know it offhand, but go ahead and read it instead.
It just basically says that I don't know much about the story, so I'm reading.
See, actually, let me do it because I don't like how it's been portrayed. Actually, the way they're writing it, real fast. Okay. It's been national news now, so you guys probably might know this story already. I saw it on the HLN and all that stuff. But in New Mexico, the family's on vacation. There's 5 kids in the car, including a 14-year-old, and I heard maybe the 17-year-old, but that I haven't seen because the 14-year-old was in the front seat, and a single mother. So basically, she was pulled over for speeding, and she's going, less than 20, but more than 10, way more than 10, about 15, 16 over, and that's all it is, a speeding ticket. But she's kind of trying to haggle like a lot of people do and trying to get out of it. And for some reason, unbeknownst to us, she decides to, she's not going to wait. He says, give me your information. She gives him all her stuff, her license, yada, yada. He goes back to the car. He says, okay, don't move. I'll be right back. She decides to take off. So then there's a chase, and it's, a pretty fast chase with those kids in the car. And basically they stop her again, but now they're agitated. So now the guy's like, get out of the car. She has to get out of the car. He's trying to arrest her detain her, I'll say that, trying to detain her, which she will get arrested. But so basically while that's happening, her 14-year-old son, who's sitting in the front seat, decides to get out and protect his mom from being arrested. And he comes out and he goes towards them real fast, but then they pull the taser out. When they do that, they didn't shoot him, but they threaten him. He goes back, puts his hands up, okay, goes back in the front seat. Mind you, a few minutes later, the same kid comes out and he, from behind, goes and gets, decides to go and basically, accost this cop again. And they didn't tase him, but they got him back in the front seat. There was a struggle. He threw punches. Yada yada. Basically, then. What happens is the police take one of the police officers. There's two of them at the time, but then another car pulled up after this chase. One of the police officers takes his nightstick and he's trying to smash open because she's trying to leave again. So oh wait, was the chase? No, okay, yeah, she's trying to. So trying to hit with the knife, trying to break the window where the 14-year-old is.
They
she
locked
takes off
themselves
again.
inside the van. When the backup arrived, the woman and her family
they said over and over,
themselves
open the door. They wouldn't. Once they started trying to get the window open, they fled again. They go for a little while until they get to a hotel. And that's when, as they're fleeing the second time again, they hit the window. It didn't break, but they hit the window. As they're fleeing again, the police, this isn't said by the media, they were shooting at the tires. Although, okay, I'm going to say how I feel, but they decided the other one, not the one who was trying to arrest him, his partner, started shooting at the tires of the car. So basically the whole thing is, and she was arrested, she had drug paraphernalia on her, which, whatever, it was like a weed pipe or something. And the main thing was she fled from a ticket, by the way.
Her 14-year-old son was arrested as well.
He was also arrested, yes. So the big to-do about it is the fact that they used the nightstick and they also shot at the car.
But the nightstick was not used on anybody. It was used to try and break the windows of the car.
Exactly. It was used on the window.
But
this didn't happen right away.
They shot at the back of the minivan. They did not shoot at the windows. They shot it and they shot down. They weren't shooting.
They were leaning towards the tires. Of course,
exactly.
On the news they're saying that they're trying to kill the kids in the back seat. That's not what happened. Not one bullet hit even a tire. It hit nothing on that car. They were trying, and they said protocol. That's why they're not suspended. There's being an investigation. Protocol is for them in that situation. That's the second time they were fleeing to shoot at the tires to get them to stop because they're putting everyone else at risk. My thing is, I do not, until I didn't know that it was the tires at first. Of course, on the news, it's biased and it said, shooting in the back where the kids are. Of course, that I said there's no, he should be suspended. There's no. Once I find that out, and that's the second time they flee, I was like, Crystal, all for a ticket. The first time she fled, they didn't search the car with the drug paraphernalia.
Right.
She literally fled because she didn't want that ticket. She had somewhere to be or something. I'm like, what the hell?
Okay,
and you're shocked that this happened?
Really quick, I want to read what she wrote from jail.
Okay.
So basically, she writes this is in a jailhouse letter to the Teos News that was published in the newspaper's op-ed section Thursday. Oriana Farrell, 39, wrote that her treatment by police and the media has been unjust and insisted that she'd always been a good mother to her children because she got charged with 5 counts of abuse on children. As a single African-American mother of 5 in this country, things are tough enough. I should not have to endure harassment at the hands of someone who's been hired to protect the citizens of this land over an alleged speeding offense. Nobody should. Farrell, who is from Tennessee, writes, as a tourist who came to Teos, New Mexico, with the intention of supporting the wonderful sights and offerings of this city, I should not sit in jail right now for continuing to do my best by my children as their mother. A uniformed officer can shoot 3 bullets at my van and be considered to be doing his job. But my doing what I can to get my own children away from such a terrifying individual has been termed child abuse and endangerment according to New Mexico law. No, let me tell you something right now. The whole single mother, this really feels like she almost pulled the race card. Almost.
Oh, no, that's where they're going with it. That's exactly. And unfortunately on HLN, I'm so sick of them. That's exactly. They didn't say anything about the tires. They brought up race instantly, saying, it's a black family. These are 2 white cops.
No, because I can guarantee
and first of all, you know what's really scary to me? More so than the shooting of the tires? That the 14-year-old son not only tried once, but what'd you say?
That he had the balls to get out of that freaking car and start trying to beat the cop down. Yeah.
Twice. And Crystal, he backs off. If you watch the video, when he pulls a taser out and threatens him, he did not tase him, not even the second time. When he pulls a taser out, he puts his arms up like, okay, gets back in the car, backs up, gets back into the car. He comes out again from behind, and he actually throws punches in the cop's face from behind. And it was amazing. And he comes out with his chest out, like, you're going to fuck with my mom? I was just like, what the hell? And they said, oh, he was just protecting. He was just protecting his mom from being arrested. She wasn't being manhandled. And she was fighting. That's the only time they had to a little bit get rough with her. And they didn't hit her, but they had to get rough because she was resisting arrest very hard, like, trying to pull her arms away from them so they couldn't get the
I'm watching it right now. I was just watching it right now. They're going to cut us off, though. So thank you guys for listening in. We're probably going to do another show maybe later on tonight with Bailey. He's got some things he wants to talk about. So we will see.
Hey, Bailey.
Yeah. We will listen.